Hi, my name is Monique, and today I want to talk about boundaries. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to discuss why boundaries are important. One, boundaries are important because it teaches the person how to treat you. Two, boundaries is important because it'll keep you out of jail. Three, boundaries are important because they are. Okay? So first, when it comes to boundaries, I know that for me personally, it was hard for me to set boundaries because I wasn't really sure what my boundaries were. And in order for you to figure out what your boundaries are, you have to establish what your standards are. And your standards are based upon what you want for yourself personally. Your standards go by what is acceptable to you and what is not acceptable to you. How you allow a person to treat you versus how you don't allow them to treat you. It's all based upon your standards, and standards and boundaries are hand in hand. So first thing that you want to do is you want to look into yourself and decide for yourself what is important to you when it comes to your standards or your boundaries. Where do you draw the line at? All right. Do you draw the line because somebody cursed at you? Is getting physical like a non-negotiable? Is that part of your boundaries? Now also keep in mind too that when you're establishing boundaries with other people, your boundaries should go across the board for everyone. So that means that the same boundaries that you set for your friends are the same ones that you should set with your romantic life or your dating partner, same ones that you set with your family. Okay? And I think that that's probably why it's so difficult to establish boundaries with people, because we won't allow our homegirls to curse at us and call us out of our names or whatever, but we'll allow our boyfriends to, or we'll allow our mothers to, or, or vice versa. Or like if you're a dude, you won't allow another dude, but your father constantly is crossing the line and disrespecting you. So you have to establish for yourself what your boundaries are. So once you do that, we're going to get into the second part, which is actually how to enforce your boundaries. Once you establish what it is that you are willing to take and absolutely not willing to take, that establishes you as this is what this person stands for. Which, normally I think that our parents is the first ones to cross the boundaries because, when we little, they crazy. And then as we grow up and we become adults, we shouldn't let people talk down to us. We shouldn't let people verbally abuse us, even if that person is a relative, that person is an older brother, a sister, a cousin, a mother, a father. We shouldn't allow people to cross the boundaries with us. So that's going to be one thing, is that you have to make sure that you tell the person what your boundaries are, and tell them also what the consequences of not respecting your boundaries are. And when you establish this boundary from the very beginning, you have to be willing to deal with whatever the consequences are. Because if this is a strong set boundary for yourself, it's hard to set up a boundary with like your brother and say, listen, I'm not going to have you talk to me crazy. I'm not going to have you disrespect me. Like, I'm not allowing it from anybody, including you. And then one day your brother get mad at you and he curse you out. And you, the next day, you're like, okay, well, you know what? He was upset. No, a part of the consequences, if you said that I'm not going to be speaking to you from this point on, I'm walking away, I've already had this conversation with you, then that's what you have to do. And a lot of times it's very hard for us to establish boundaries because we're not willing to actually go through with the consequences. And that has to change. You have to be strong with your consequences. All right, so once you figured out what your boundaries are, you figured out how to establish that with other people, and now you start to tell people about your boundaries, your standards, or whatever. Don't expect for people to just fall into line. You are going to have some people that is not interested in your new boundary. They are not interested in your newfound self-love. They are not interested in you trying to be a better person. They're not here for it. So what you have to do is be okay with that. Be okay with the fact that once you tell somebody what your boundary are what your standards are, once you tell someone and you tell them the consequences of it, respect their choice too. Respect their choice that they don't respect your boundaries. And be done with it. Normally, I feel like people do respect boundaries. They do respect other people's standards, especially once you have a conversation with them and you tell them what your boundary is. I feel like that's very important. And when it comes to people not respecting you and not respecting the boundaries that you're trying to establish, like the best thing that you can do for yourself is walk away, because all you're really doing is choosing peace for yourself. And it's better to choose peace than to choose drama, than to choose somebody constantly disrespecting you and you having to deal with that, to deal with someone that is basically traumatizing you. It's better that you just walk away. You know, whether you're a male or a female, you know, respect yourself enough to not put yourself into certain positions where, you know, you're being abused and disrespected. Nobody wins, especially you. All right, so I hope that this was helpful in some type of way. And yeah, I meant to say, give me a thumbs up if you're watching this. Make sure that you subscribe, all right, if you want to see videos on my opinions and my thoughts. Okay, and I will chat with you soon. Bye.